Well, the death of Sandalwood actor Raghuveer has certainly hurt his fans across the state. The actor, who became a superstar with his debut film, went on to give numerous hits in the early 90s. But his fame and success was short-lived. His decision to marry his co-star changed his life forever. From being a nonchalant son of a rich businessman, his life had turned into a tragedy. Here is the story of the rise and fall of actor Raghuveer.
ಚೈತ್ರದ ಪ್ರೇಮಾಂಜಲಿಯ ಸುಮ 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 ಗಂಧದ ಪರಿಮಳಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಘಮ 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 ಸುಮ ಘಮ ಸಮಾಗಮ.
If you're a Kannada film buff, there is no way you could have missed this song.
ಮಲ್ಲಿಗೆಯ ಮಳ್ಳಿ ಚೆಲುವಿನದಿ ನೆಲ್ಲುಲಿಯ ಮೆಲ್ಲ ನಗುವಿನದಿ ಸಂಪಿಗೆಯ ಸೊಂಪು ಕುರುಳಿನಡಿ ತಂಪಿಡುವ ಶಶಿಯ ವದನದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತನಾಡೆ ಮಂದಾರ.
Chaitra the Premanjali was a super hit song in the early 90s and is still played in parties. The film had set a trend in the Kannada film industry and had given rise to numerous unknown faces. Its huge success left a lasting impression on the Kannada audience. Some even refer it as the DDLJ of Kannada cinema. The film had made its lead hero Raghuveer an overnight star. His success continued with a couple of films, and soon the actor's life took a tragic turn. He became an actor without a role and even found it difficult to have 2 meals a day. The son of a rich businessman was out on the streets to fend for his family. 2 decades later, the actor breathed his last at his residence in Sampangi Ramnagar. His body was cremated and the dreams of another great artist had come to an end. Raghuveer was 46 when he died of a heart attack. His friends and family claim that he had taken to drinking in the last few years and his personal life had sent him into oblivion. What happened to actor Raghuveer? How did his career nosedive after such super hits in his initial days? How did the life of a super rich businessman end in such tragedy? What forced the actor to pick up the bottle? Well, the story might bring tears into your eyes. A nonchalant rich kid in the 80s. The BMTC bus stand in Majestic, Ravindra Kalakshetra and Chaudhaya Memorial Hall on JC Road, Dr. Rajkumar's residence in Sadashiv Nagar and Ambarish's house in JP Nagar. Well, these were some of the famous landmarks in the city until a few decades ago. But all these famous places had one thing in common. They were all constructed under the guidance of one person, T.L. Muniyalappa, Raghuveer's father. Yes, Raghuveer's father, T.L. Muniyalappa, was a building contractor to some of the biggest and famous buildings in Bengaluru. Those who have known Raghuveer's family say that his family was one of the richest in Bengaluru in the 80s. The family owned huge properties in the city and their assets were estimated to be over 600 crores during the 80s. Yes, 600 crores. That's the kind of wealth his family had earned those days. Raghuveer had just one brother and both of them were brought up in a regal manner. He grew up with a nonchalant personality and life was full of fun and frolic until he reached his 20s. Raghuveer grew up with the rich and famous in the city as his father was one of the famous building contractors. His association with the film industry started at a young age as he would visit the house of legendary actor Dr. Rajkumar and Ambarish along with his father. Raghuveer dreamt of becoming an actor, whereas his father wanted him to follow his footsteps. As a young boy, Raghuveer did not want to join his father's business and instead wanted to step into the Kannada film industry. His father, who only wanted the best for his children, supported Raghuveer to achieve his dream. Raghuveer was rejected by a dozen directors. Raghuveer had started to look for a story to launch his career as a hero. It was at this time that he came across an assistant director named S. Narayan. The two were looking to make a career in Sandalwood, and Raghuveer wanted Narayan to come up with the story. S. Narayan, who had worked as an assistant director in several films, had a script in mind and decided to write the screenplay for the film. Raghuveer wanted someone to direct the film, but none were willing to cast him as a hero. Yes, Raghuveer did not look like a hero material, but his father was willing to invest money and launch his son as a hero. A dozen directors had rejected the offer, and Raghuveer finally handed over the mantle to S. Narayan and made him the director of the film. The movie was made on a huge budget with debutantes and struggling actors in various roles. The film was finally released, and its success sealed the fate of numerous actors and technicians. Raghuveer had become an overnight star and S. Narayan a brilliant director. The film also gave birth to other actors like Shobhraj. Raghuveer was flooded with offers, but the actor chose a film with a tragic end as his second movie. The film was Shringara Kavya. Shringara Kavya was the debut film for actress Sindhu. The lead pair had lit the screens on fire and their chemistry had worked with the audience. The film was a changing point in both their careers. Raghuveer had fallen in love with his co-star and the two decided to marry. But this didn't go well with Raghuveer's family, who had supported him all throughout. A love marriage that ended in tragedy. Raghuveer's family was against their wedding as Sindhu belonged to another caste. Moreover, his family did not want Raghuveer to marry a girl from the film industry. But the actors were blind in love. The two went ahead and married against the wishes of Raghuveer's family. The actor had become a star and assumed that he could lead a life on his own. Raghuveer's family had disowned him and had stated that he would not receive a single penny from his ancestral property. But the actor, who was deeply in love, was not worried about his father's wealth. He hoped to live life on his own with his partner. But life had taken a drastic turn. The actor acted in several movies like Uyyale, Kaveri Tiradalli, Naviluru Naidile and many more. But none of them saw the kind of success his earlier movies did. He had started to lose ground, and producers had started to consider his earlier success as beginner's luck and started avoiding him. Raghuveer and Sindhu were out of roles, and their child added to their woes. Sources say there came a time when Raghuveer could not even afford to feed his child. His decision to marry a girl from the film industry had angered his father, who was not willing to help him even during troubled times. Raghuveer took the help of some of his family members and friends to survive. He ventured into a business and tried his hand at making soda and selling mineral water cans. But that failed too. Believe it or not, his friends say that there came a time when Raghuveer decided to sell SIM cards to feed his family. But that didn't do much to change his financial condition either. His family life had taken a beating as both the actors were unable to fend for themselves. His wife Sindhu decided to move to her hometown in Chennai and started her career afresh. Fortunately for her, she got a plum role in a serial, and that turned out to be a huge hit. Raghuveer followed her footsteps and moved to Chennai, but was disappointed with the response. But his wife's career got a second innings. Soon, tragedy struck the romantic hero. Raghuveer felt that he had nothing to look forward to in life. He had left his family for his wife, and his career had taken a beating. And now his wife had died, leaving him in the lurch. Raghuveer took to drinking and was depressed, but his family came to his rescue and he returned to Bengaluru. Raghuveer married his relative, the same girl his father wanted him to marry before his first marriage. The couple even had a child. Though Raghuveer returned to his family, he was unable to digest what he had been through. His drinking habits continued and he had become dependent on alcohol. He even tried to make a comeback with another film called Mugila Chumbana, but the film tanked at the box office. Raghuveer dreamt of becoming a director and was working on a project titled Matte Bantu Chaitra, but then he was arrested for his involvement in prostitution. Raghuveer was arrested in Mysore along with his friends and 2 women. The actor was sent to prison but later released on bail. The incident was a big shock to his family and friends. Raghuveer had lost everything, but his reputation was intact. But the incident had spoiled his entire family's reputation. Raghuveer came out on bail and clarified with the media. He stated that his enemies had used their influence to spoil his reputation. He was supported by his family and friends, and the issue died within a few days. Soon his ancestral property had become an issue within the family. His parents decided that they would split the property into half between the 2 brothers. In spite of all this, Raghuveer wasn't a happy man. All these incidents had depressed the actor. He had lost his fame, success, and was far away from his family for more than a decade. His first wife's untimely death had affected his life to a large extent. Though he was married for the second time, he was unable to forget his past life. His drinking habits had taken a toll on him. His family and friends tried to save him, but in vain. The actor had breathed his last on Thursday evening. There was confusion in his death too. Though media channels had reported that he was dead, some of his relatives claimed that he was in a critical condition but alive. But within hours, he was declared dead by his family members. The actor's body was cremated at his estate in Bengaluru. His dreams, ambitions and hopes are now history. The life of another actor who came with big dreams is shattered. Life had been a roller coaster for him. From being a superstar, the actor's life had turned into a tragedy. Was his decision to marry his lover the biggest mistake of his life? Or did destiny play a cruel role? Well, nobody knows. But his story will certainly be remembered by Kannadigas for a long time to come. A News9 report.